Evening, everyone. Welcome to the February School Board meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whoops. Stay in my lane here. We'll move to item 2.1, roll call. Please identify that all board members are here and present. 2.2, is there a conflict of interest that needs to be identified? Okay, 2.3, I'll entertain a motion to review and approve the agenda.
Mr. President, I move we approve and review the agenda.
Okay, motion by Moulton.
Second.
Second by Lohr. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes of the January 12th meeting. Entertain a motion.
I move we approve the minutes for January 26th.
Okay, motion by Lohr,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Financial reports for January 2026.
Thank you, John. In the general fund, revenue for the period included a state aid payment and other revenue of $101,580, which included the first half transportation reimbursement for district-wide funds. Expenditures remained moderate during the period, resulting in an ending fund balance of $5.8 million. Capital outlay revenue for the period was moderate, with taxes reported at $37,000 and other revenue of $40,000 relating to an insurance claim reimbursement and scoreboard sponsorships. Expenditures were largely related to a technology purchase and a debt service payment for the athletic complex, resulting in an ending cash balance of $1.7 million. Special education consisted primarily of property tax receipts and a monthly state aid payment totaling $139,000. The cash balance in this fund has been maintained at a level consistent with prior year and is reported at $2.7 million. In the K-12 Nutrition Fund, total revenue for the month amounted to $197,000 and exceeded expenditures during the period. The ending cash balance of $174,000 is higher than the prior year, primarily due to the timing of inventory purchases and related cash outflows. Lake Area Technical College received $2.7 million in tuition revenue and just over $2 million in other revenue during the month. Other revenue includes student fees and $79,000 from the sale of surplus property relating to an airplane. Total revenue for the month was approximately $4.9 million, which exceeded disbursements of $2.6 million. As a result, the cash balance in this fund resulted at $10.2 million at month end. LATC Enterprise Funds maintained activity to support their operations. In the Employee Benefit Trust, administrative and claims related costs for the month exceeded premium revenues, resulting in a minimal net loss to the trust. As a result, the ending fund balance decreased by $84,000, resulting in a cash balance of just over $3.4 million, which is still reported above that of the prior year. Later in tonight's meeting, I will present information relating to the 2025 plan year. I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I have a question on K-12 nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has switched to recommending whole milk, do we receive quotes each month for milk like we do fuel?
Yep, that's a good question. We do not receive quotes. I can tell you though that when we quote it for the year, so we do a year-long district-wide bid for that for the year, and we usually only receive 1 to 2 quotes.
Okay. So even though at this stage it's a recommendation, and I'm sure next year they're going to make it a definite priority, or
Yep, we're planning for it for the next year, but right now we're still operating at what we currently serve.
but there's no way we could switch now?
It's not a USDA federal guideline yet, and with that said, with how our prices are structured, we probably wouldn't be looking to do that mid-year.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the student staff recognitions.
All right. I would like to recognize some staff members this evening. First of all, So on January 23rd, we awarded our certified and classified staff members of the year. And so I would like to read the nominees first, and then we actually have our two recipients in the crowd this evening. So we'll start with classified. At Watertown High School, Rebecca Brazel Anderson. At Millette Elementary, Liz Vanderzee. At McKinley Early Childhood Center, Kelsey Kahn. At Watertown Middle School, Adam Lousing. At Lincoln Elementary, Jeannie Burnt. At Jefferson Elementary, Sydney Kroom. And at Watertown Intermediate School, Michael Stidel. Let's give a round of applause to all of our classified nominees. And this year's recipient of the Classified Staff Member of the Year is Michael Stidel, a District Tech helper. Tech assistant. Congratulations, Michael.
Congrats.
And now for our certified nominees. At Watertown High School, Danielle Harms. Millette Elementary, Wendy Kluver. McKinley Early Childhood Center, Maggie Mellon. Watertown Middle School, Kelly Ketwig. Lincoln Elementary, Renee Mellon. Jefferson Elementary, Denise Swenson. And at Watertown Intermediate School, Nancy Decker. Let's give a round of applause for all of our certified nominees. And this year's recipient of the Certified Staff Member of the Year from Lincoln Elementary, special education teacher Renee Mellon.
Casey, you got a good smile?
Congratulations.
A big thank you to all of our staff members, certified and classified, as well as our members of the selection committee. And I have some other folks I'd like to recognize this evening. In recognition of dedicated leadership in public education and for improving achievement for all public school students, Associated School Boards of South Dakota honors the Watertown School District School Board during South Dakota School Board Recognition Week, which is February 16th through the 20th. So a big thank you to our school board members, and we actually have some students tonight to read some thank yous. So students, when I call your name, I'm going to have you come up to the table up here, read your letter, and then I have a certificate for each board member. They're going to come around in front and take a picture with you after that, okay? So I'm going to start with our board president, John Iverson, and to read for him this evening, we have Molly Rausch, high school student.
Hi everyone, my name is Molly Rausch. I'm a freshman here at the Watertown High School. I'm a part of Student Council, Aero Ambassadors, Hope Squad, and Aero TV. I'm honored to have this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Iverson, for all the work you've done here and the commitment you had to the Watertown School District. From leading school board meetings to help keep students stay focused in the classroom, our education thrives because of you. By being a student at the Watertown High School, I can feel your impact through my education. I appreciate how you help bring people together to support students. Your support for us students is what helps us keep going and keep getting the education we need. Mr. Iverson, I hope you know deeply that your work here is amazing, and it's helping kids every day. Your sound decision making for students really affects us positively, and you are making all the right decisions, and it shows how much you care. By being a social studies teacher for 39 years and also being on the board for nearly 5 years shows how much compassion you have for us students, and you genuinely want us to get a better education. Your devotion to the Watertown School District is truly amazing, and it helps kids succeed in their learning and most importantly, their futures. Thank you again, Mr. Iverson. Your work, dedication, and passion that you have for us students really makes a difference in thousands of lives.
Thank you very much. Molly. Next, for our vice president, we will have Watertown Intermediate School student Emma LeVay for Carrie Lohr.
I think that the school board doesn't get the credit it deserves. They have a huge hand in keeping us safe. And I know all the kids here can vouch for that. The first point I wanted to bring out is their amazing flexibility. When something is not right or happens suddenly, they are able to bend, they assess the situation, and find the perfect solution. And all this snow has made them need to be very flexible. The next point I wanted to look at is how great they are at keeping us safe. In this world, it is very hard to keep safe. And I couldn't imagine having to keep 2,000 kids safe. The rules that you make play an amazing role in our lives and help us to grow up to be well-mannered and kind. The last point is how you all keep school fun and interesting. You always give us something to do, just like this essay. It makes a difference. It makes school a little more interesting. In conclusion, the whole school and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You always have our best interests in mind, and for that we thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Next, for board member Jean Moulton, we'll have Sarah Lee from Watertown High School.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Lee and this year I am a senior at Watertown High School. We all know that behind the scenes, school board members work to make sure that our district can continue to grow and improve as smoothly as possible. I have the honor of thanking Jean Moulton tonight. There is so much that goes into serving a community and even more this school district. I know personally that I should be so grateful and I am so appreciative to our school board members. On Saturday, February 6th, I was given a $60,000 scholarship to the University of Minnesota. Without the opportunities I was given here at Watertown High School, I could have never even dreamed of getting such an amazing honor. Over my 4 years at WHS, I've engaged in so many clubs and activities serving our local community. From supporting academic programs like the Customized Aero Academy to extracurricular opportunities like Allstate, the school board members help shape the environment that students are surrounded by every day. Jean Moulton is someone who has shown such a strong determination to the Watertown community with over 40 years of dedication. Her position on the committee for the South Dakota Department of Education has also helped encourage and reach goals. Focusing on advocating for student learning and approving budgets that not only support our school, but education all over South Dakota is so crucial for our students. Thanks to those responsibilities of the board, I am able to announce that I am also on the board of both our Watertown Student Council as well as National Honor Society. Without our school board members' commitment to improving our school, I would not be on the same path as I am today. From the bottom of my heart, and speaking for everyone here, thank you, Jean Moulton, and every other past, present, and future board member. Your decisions truly help shape our future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, for board member Bailey Rammel, Annie Olerud from the Watertown Middle School.
Hi, I'm Annie Olerud, a 7th grader at Watertown Middle School. I just wanted to give a big thank you to Mrs. Rammel. I know I don't realize how much work happens behind the scenes, but I know it really matters to all of us. I appreciate how you understand the many challenges facing our generation of students. You show us that understanding by advocating for programs that support the growth and success of all of us. It's great that you also talk to parents and teachers so they know what's going on and feel comfortable asking questions. That helps create a better school district for all of us. Even though I'm just a 7th grader, I can tell when adults care, and Mrs. Rammel definitely does. Thank you for putting students and families first and helping make our schools a great place to be.
I'm way more brave. I'm gonna get rid of it. Gotta get a good angle.
Thank you, Annie. And for board member Rochelle Rossman, we have Lainey Byer, also from Watertown Middle School.
Hi, I'm Lainey Byer, an 8th grader at the Watertown Middle School. I want to thank Mrs. Rossman for the work she does on behalf of students, families, and teachers in Watertown. Being on the school board probably isn't easy, but I appreciate that you care about making our schools a great place for us to learn and feel supported. Your work helps to make sure we get a great education and that we also have safe schools where we can do our best. I also appreciate that you advocate for us learning how to handle everyday problems. It's nice that you don't forget our parents and teachers. Who doesn't appreciate happy adults? Thank you for caring about students, parents, teachers, and our schools. It really does make a difference for us all.
You'll let the media go first. Thanks.
Thank you, Lainey. A big thank you to all our students and also to our school board. Many times serving on these boards is a labor of love. And love of the Watertown School District is why these folks serve. And from the staff, on behalf of the staff and students, I want to thank you myself also for choosing to do this and to be a part of our school system. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to say we've got some really good writers out there. So for those of you looking to run for re-election, maybe just hire some of those people, put them on staff.
Speech writers. There we go.
And you got some great bios out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we moved to item 3.1, public input on agenda or non-agenda items for LATC. Okay, let's go to 3.2, enrollment updates for LATC.
Good evening. I'm going to share just a quick update with you. Typically 10 days into any new semester, we have an official update on enrollment at the college. And like has been the trend for a long time now, Lake Area Tech student body continues to be very healthy. With the spring semester 2026, we have 2,758 students who are choosing to pursue their career paths at Lake Area. That's up 437 from this last fall and 51 from this time last year. And so I think we continue to invest in students and our team to make sure we're able to do our work at the highest level possible, but I think it's a signal that students and families recognize the value in technical education, in the opportunities that are here in Cottington County at Lake Area. Just a couple of notes from our class of 2024. It's good to look back on how well those students did in the early stages of their careers. 8 out of 10 from this class of 2024 are working in South Dakota. 3 out of 10, 31%, are here in Cottington County. So as we think about the impact that Lake Area Tech has, we're able to serve a large geographic area. 46 of 66 counties were host to a Lake Area Tech graduate in their first career out of college, but 31% chose to stay here in Cottington County. And I think that's a huge tribute to the way that our community supports our students while they're here on campus and then starting their early careers as well. So a huge thank you to all of the employers that helped to make that happen. In that class of 2024, the average graduate started their career at just over $56,000. If you think about that in terms of value, meaning how much does it cost to get a college degree at Lake Area Tech versus what does a student make as they enter their first career out of college. You compare those two for the average graduate from the class of 2024, it took 5 months to earn back the cost of the degree. And so a student comes in, is able to manage the price tag for college here in Watertown, and then very quickly earns back the cost of what that degree was. That doesn't even consider the scholarships, the full rides that are offered at Lake Area Tech. That's assuming that every student pays the full price for a technical education degree at Lake Area versus knowing that about 20% of our students are on Build Dakota or workforce scholarships that covers the majority or all of their costs. And so as we look to our future, knowing that we're trying more and more to meet employer demands in programs that exist on Lake Area Tech's campus, and that we're growing into that affordability piece and making sure that students have a really high investment or have a really high return on their investment very quickly after college, will continue to be a priority for us. And speaking of scholarships, the window is open right now through March 31st. Students are encouraged to first apply to Lake Area Tech, and with acceptance at the college, they're eligible to apply for scholarships, including the Build Dakota Scholarship. So that window will be open through the end of March. So whether a student's interested in cybersecurity or robotics or phlebotomy or drones or whatever it may be, those scholarship opportunities are available. So Mr. Chairman, you asked me to come up and speak to enrollment. 2,758 is where we're at in our student body. Our goal at the beginning of the year was to reach about 2,800, and so we're well on our way to that point. I'll stand by for any questions that you have.
Excellent. Yeah, questions? I just think one of the more amazing statistics is the fact that it takes 5 months to earn enough to pay back. And with people that have scholarships, of course, that's a much shorter time frame. So that's just wonderful news.
I think nationally the trend is away from college and to vocational technical schools.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Board Member Moulton. We're seeing more traction in technical degree fields for a variety of reasons, right? That affordability is one of them, the quick turn into the industry, and more stackability into higher degrees. If you're a student who's interested in healthcare right now, I mentioned phlebotomy a moment ago. If a student takes our phlebotomy certificate, you can do that over 2 semesters. That full certificate builds into a medical lab technician 2-year degree, which builds into a 4-year bachelor's in med lab tech. And so there's just a great opportunity for students to start small, get into the workforce, and oftentimes employers are in such great need, they offer scholarships for students to earn those higher level degrees. So there's tremendous opportunity.
Thank you.
That's our 3.2 enrollment update. I think we moved to 4.1 now, personnel.
Thank you. Let's start with retirements, and I'm working tonight off of the blue sheet, the update from today. At the top of your sheet, you'll see that we have 5 individuals from our team who will be retiring at the end of the year. Between these 5 folks, 126 years of experience, just phenomenal commitment to our students and the work we do at Lake Area Tech. So to Scott and Jackie and Joy and Brenda and to Lee, thank you so much for your careers at Lake Area. And as I've told them, we'll celebrate them big after they get done working at Lake Area. So I'd ask for the school board's approval on those retirements as they're presented.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the above stated retirements.
Move that we approve the 5 retirements as listed.
Okay, motion by Rossman.
Second.
Second by Rammel. Questions, comments? I would like to give my thanks for, that's a lot of years. I'm glad you did the math for us.
Yeah.
126 years, thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful people to work with at Lake Area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different when you know the people who are retiring. Isn't it?
Yeah. Good people.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 4.1.2, resignations.
Before you are 2 resignations, and I'd ask for your approval as those are presented.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept these resignations.
I move to accept the resignations as listed.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Rammel, second by Rossman. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 4.1.3, contract recommendations and addendums.
Thank you. Before you are a variety of adjunct contracts and overload contracts for this spring semester in line with what it takes to make sure classes are offered throughout the semester. Ask for your approval as they're presented.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept these contract recommendations and addendums.
Move that we approve the contract recommendations and addendums as listed.
Motion by Rossman.
Second.
Second by Rammel. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Takes us to property, 4.2.1. Consider surplus resolution.
Thank you. Before you is a surplus resolution for disposal, and this is kind of an interesting one to bring before you. This one considers the Boeing 727 that's been part of our aviation maintenance program since 2007. And a big thank you and recognition to Greg Klein and Spencer Tischer, who worked in and were students of the aviation maintenance program back in the early 2000s. They worked with FedEx. FedEx was surplusing as they decommissioned Boeing 727s from their fleets. We're giving them to schools and museums. Lake Area Tech was the benefactor of one of those. And that plane was used for turbine engine theory and aircraft systems instruction in the program for many years. We received the plane when it was decommissioned in 2007. It's been a minute since 2007. The technology has changed over that amount of time, and so now we have other aircraft that we're teaching those systems on, and that's why we're surplusing the equipment at this point, but certainly has been a historic part of the college's training ability, and are grateful for that piece of equipment.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the surplus resolution.
I move we approve the surplus resolution as explained.
Motion by Moulton,
Second.
second by Lohr. Questions, comments? It's just the reality of maintenance that things become obsolete, isn't it?
Sure is.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 4.2.2, consider equipment lease agreements.
Yeah, we have one low-cost lease agreement for your consideration this month. It's for our heavy equipment operator program. Through TransSource, we will be able to lease a wheel loader for HEO students for 12 months at a cost of $1,000 per month. One of our current foundation board members works now for TransSource and said if we were in industry and went to rent that, it would be $10,000 per month for that wheel loader. And so just really appreciate TransSource's continued generosity to allow our students to get that hands-on experience and be prepared for work sites.
Okay.
So ask for your approval.
Entertain a motion to approve the lease agreement.
We approve the lease agreement as explained.
Motion by Lohr,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
That takes us to item 5.1, public input on agenda or non-agenda items. Anybody from the audience? Okay, we moved 5.2, Northeast Technical High School report.
Yes, nothing to report too heavy on this, other than the board meeting on February 18th, 5:45.
Okay. 5.3, the NWEA map testing update. And that is Mr. Barrios, I believe.
Share a little bit this evening, a quick update of our map assessment that we give 3 times a year. We have talked about NWEA map assessments before and kind of how we use them, but I'll give a quick overview of that assessment and then talk about our district data as well. All right. So we're going to cover what is the map assessment, a little bit of an overview, look at our district data, and then how we move forward in using that data as a district. So NWEA MAP, so Northwest Evaluation Association, they are responsible for the measures of academic progress, the MAP assessment. It is based on ROSH units, which is a scale, number scale, where as students test, they get placed on a scale, they're given a RIT score that's often referred to, and that kind of places them and is used to compare them to other students who are also taking this assessment. As you can see below, 13 million plus students are using the MAP assessment across the country and across the world. And so as we look at our student data and how we use that to make decisions in our district, we're looking at how we compare against other students across the world. So we use this assessment for reading, math, and science. There is a language usage assessment that is separate that we do not utilize. We do not pay extra for that one. So So we test in reading, math, and science 3 times a year. We test in the fall, soon after we come back from summer break. Then we test after the new year. That winter assessment window has just closed. And now looking at that data, which we'll see tonight, and then we'll test again towards the end of the school year. Kind of how this data is looked at. We have a starting point, and then along the way we have check-in points, and then kind of see where we're at then at the end of the school year. And so those checkpoints, and this next slide kind of shows what that data actually looks like. So this is over the course of a couple years here, where a student started, and then how they progress throughout their school year. So we, throughout their educational journey really, because we use this kindergarten through 8th grade. And so we're tracking and looking at students, how they test on reading, math, and science through their whole educational journey with us in Watertown. This scale score also stays the same as you progress through school. So that number of 195 that's on the example will stay there. And as they get into 8th grade, you're looking at scores that are more in the 200s, and above. So what the assessment, what you can expect from the assessment is all online. It is taken 3 times a year. It's about 50 questions per test, and students are testing for about 45 to 75 minutes per subject. Really, that does vary per student. Might have some students that get click happy, and we maybe need to have a conversation with them about, all right, we're going to start this one over maybe. So we want to make sure that they're actually testing and getting accurate data with that. It is aligned to South Dakota specific standards as well. So it's not that we're not looking at generalized standards, we're looking at standards that we are have adopted in South Dakota and what we are teaching. It is untimed, it is multiple choice. It's not based on how many answers you get right, because you're not going to get every question right. It's adaptive, so as you get harder questions correct, you get harder questions. If a student will fail at those harder questions, then the questions get a little bit easier. As they start to answer more questions correctly, they start to get harder, and kind of find more or less a sweet spot of where that student is in their education. Can expect to get about half of the items correct usually on an assessment. These next few slides are pretty boring. It's going to show you all of the different data reports that are available to us. So there are many other benchmark assessments that are available to schools and that we have used in the past. The reason why we use this map data is because of all of the information that it can gather for us. So we can look at it on this first page, you see district profile. So we can look at it from a district perspective of how are our students doing as a whole in math, reading, and science. As you look through these, you can see the next one, there's a school profile. The next one after that is a class profile, so we're getting deeper and deeper into individual student data. On the second slide, the first one listed there is an individual student profile. So a teacher could pull up an individual student and see how they tested in those 3 areas of math, reading, and science. And then also look at past data points that that student has and can kind of see the growth that they've had over their years in school. And if you look at that graph kind of closely, you can see how that trend line or that data line really does change over time. You see areas of growth, even regression, and then as they progress in school years, you see more and more growth. There's a family report that I'll talk about in a little bit. Learning continuum, what that does is you're going to look at individual student. You're going to see kind of what their RIT score is for a particular subject area, and then it's going to show you what have they mastered and what are they ready to learn next. So a teacher could really look at that individual student and say, okay, what have they mastered? I can start to maybe group students to say, okay, these students are ready to go on to this next chunk. This group of students needs to review this stuff here. And so it really allows a teacher to get very specific in what they're teaching and reviewing with students throughout the school year even. A couple other assessments is going to show a lot of the same data just in other ways. And so even as we look at district data, some of the graphs that we see that I'll show you are just one of them, but you can look at other reports that show the data in a different way that kind of gives you just a different perspective on it as well. More reports here, individual grade reports. So as we look through maybe even just new curriculum selection, we look at how a grade is doing in a particular area on a standard group of standards. We can see that, make decisions as a district on how we have our curriculum set up. On the last slide of reports, the second one down is mentioned projected proficiency summary. What our data can also tell us is it can project what a student will score on our state assessments, our South Dakota state assessment, as well as the ACT and the SAT. It's not perfect, but what it's looking at is based on what they are scoring for a RIT score, what they're showing that they know standards-wise, they could expect to score a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the state assessment, or a particular score of an SAT, ACT score. Not perfect, but it is pretty accurate, I would say, when even I look at my own students, my own child's scores. Any questions over all the reports? Just put those in there so you kind of know that this assessment does really provide a lot of data in a lot of different ways that is very usable for the district. All right, so these next 3 slides, we're going to look at math, reading, and science. The first one here is math. The large bar here where it says 59th, we're looking at the growth of our students from the fall assessment window to the winter assessment window. And what a RIT score does and how we show growth or not is it's going to lump all the students that scored a 195 RIT score in math, let's say. And then it's going to look at across the country students that scored a 195 in the fall, how did they score in the winter? And then looks at individual students and what percentile they are in based on how other students also grew in that amount of time. We get very specific with this map data in that we set, like there's been this many weeks of teaching before we have assessed. And so then it uses that data to also really fine tune the information that it's giving us. So as a district, we were in the 59th percentile for growth in math. What I would caution you is there are 5 colors in this map data. I know in our state assessment there's 4 colors. And so really the yellow is the 50th percentile. It includes the 50th percentile, meaning that yellow is not bad. Cause for concern would be as if we're in the orange or red. Overall, we're showing better than normal growth as a district in our math. The 2 below there are the achievements. So it's looking at the individual test sessions in the fall as a district and in the winter as a district. And you can see that our district was 63rd percentile for achievement in the fall and 67th percentile for achievement in the winter. And that's our math. The next slide will show our reading. In the 60th percentile for reading growth from fall to winter. Again, you can see that how that growth happened. We achieved a 56th percentile achievement for reading and 60th percentile achievement for reading in the winter. And our last one, science. 65th percentile for growth in science. Same thing in achievement. You can see the obvious growth there that happened from the fall to the winter, moving from the 60th percentile to the 65th percentile as a district. So how do we use this data? We review this data after each testing session. We have a district-wide kind of data retreat that happens in the fall, looking at past state testing data as well as MAP testing data from the fall. We use that then to drive instructional decisions that we make at grade level, district-wide, at your building, within your own class of where your students are at. And again, we use that to help our district move forward. The next pieces I'll talk about would be the last two bullet points on how we share this information with our students and our parents. So what I have on these next few slides is what a family report would look like for an individual student. So this is what gets sent home, explains what is the MAP report, what is achievement, what is growth, what is the RIT score, kind of putting that into just digestible information for a parent who's not really maybe having an education background where you deal with this type of data all the time. We have these conversations with our own students too. So like my son will come home in 4th grade and talk about how, oh yeah, my score was this in the fall, my goal is this for the winter. As a class, we have this goal. So this is data that is talked about within the classroom and with individual students as well. It's not just a test to give a test. So when a family gets this report, you can see on there, this is actual growth of a student. This is going to show, you see here, it shows fall of 24. So this would be a year and a half ago. You can see the growth that happened the fall to the winter of 25 to the spring of 25. That'd be 1 year, those 3 testing points. Which almost always happens is the next piece, where in the fall of 25, where you have kind of a summer slump when they come back. Not only are you going to be covering new standards with that first assessment, but then you also have students obviously who have not been reading and working on math and science all summer. And so you will see a regression usually in the fall, but then always see probably a good amount of growth by the winter time as they dig into those new standards. It shows in here, this student A was in the 79th percentile this winter for their math, which would be a high achievement. And then right next to that, it shows then what the growth would be. So 2 different percentiles, achievement on the left, growth on the right for that student. The trend line underneath there as well would be just average national achievement as well. Down below there is the reading one. Again, showing where they are in achievement and growth as well. I did talk about the projected scoring on like your state testing. If you look underneath the growth for both of those, it says student A is likely to be level 3 on the Smarter Balanced for math in the spring of 26, and then down below, student A likely to score or be in level 2 for reading in the spring 26. So that's based on where they're testing and the growth that they've shown. Last page, this is just giving parents kind of some questions they could talk about with their student's teacher. So what can I work on with my student outside of school to help them show growth as well? That's what I have for you on the MAP assessment that we use. Any questions?
Well, you answered one of mine. I was going to ask about the regression from, when you leave in the spring and you're at this level, and then where do you come in?
Right.
In the fall?
Yeah, this assessment definitely does more for us than like what the state assessment would, where it's you take the assessment in the spring, you look at it in the fall, and you're not really sure what's happening until the next spring, and then you're already lost a year, kind of where you can't really see the growth. This helps us kind of just add another layer of data for our students to help them grow throughout the school year.
Is there anything you said you guys utilize this throughout the year to kind of look at a building, classroom, and the individual student. I know it's kind of mid-year at this point when they do it, but does that help with like anything that they would encourage for a student who really had like a giant lapse in their score for that summer slump? Is there anything that's done to just kind of guide parents and students at the end of the school year that they could continue to do into the summer, like some of those students who are really falling back with those?
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations I would say that should be happening even like with like RTI,
Sure.
you know, just helping kids that are
Yep.
lower throughout the school year. As we get then to the springtime, having conversations with parents of like, hey, here's things that you can be working on.
Sure.
We've had summer school, you know, that
Yeah,
if there's
you can ask about that. Yep.
not a lot of growth happening, you know, that might be a conversation. So yeah, it does just open the door for a lot of conversations, and it's not just, well, here's what I see, and here's the grades they're getting, here's what I see and what the data shows as well. So
Yeah,
it's again
appreciate
another support piece.
How many years have we used this?
I think we're at 5 years. I think it was.
Does it give you, I assume the answer is no, but I'll ask it. Does it give you access to other towns or other schools in the state who are doing it? Okay.
Nope.
It's not a layer you can get
No, it's not. Even when we review our data with the MAP people, NWA, they don't even have our data. Like we have to show our data, and they talk through
Share it
our
with
data
them.
with us.
I see. Okay.
So when they're collecting or when they're getting student data, it's nameless, I would say, and then it's just spitting back specific data then for us to see.
Interesting. Okay.
Have we ever done any comparisons since we've been doing it for 5 years? Do you ever do any like long-term comparisons in the last 5 years about what trends we've seen happening?
I would say in my time probably have not looked long term. No, I would say it's been a lot of just over the year
Yeah.
and moving us forward that way.
I was just curious if, and this COVID won't count because we've started since then, but it is interesting to see the data change from COVID and what that looks like. So
Right.
it might be interesting.
Yeah, this would have been post.
Post. Okay.
Yeah.
So on the Smarter Balance test, it's 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 4 are the highest, right?
Yep.
Percentiles?
Correct. That'd be at and above grade
Yeah.
level.
And this uses 5. So the charts that we're using here, this is cumulative between kindergarten through 8th grade, correct?
Yep,
For each of these?
correct.
So to get the 65th percentile, say in math, are you adding up the blue bar, the green bar, and the yellow bar to get that?
I'm assuming that's one of those data points we get based off of what they know about
Okay.
everybody who's taking it. So it's not reported the same as like when you get Smarter Balance, you get a percentage of
Yep.
proficient advanced. This is 65th percentile of all the,
Yeah.
As a whole.
yeah.
This would be the Smarter Balance where we get
Yep.
who's where and what.
Yep.
So when the teachers get together for the data retreat in the fall, do they break into grade levels, individual classes, what?
Yeah, a combination. Yeah, there's grade level meetings that happen, and then it's also a lot of building specific, I would say, that they're
Okay,
looking at that
that was my
data.
next question. They also do building level?
Yep. I would say majority of it probably is more building level of, like, these are my students in my classroom or in our grade level. What are we gonna do as first grade teachers here?
This is where we see problems, this is where
Yep.
we see improvement, et
Right.
cetera. Is that an all-day data retreat?
Yeah, it's an in-service day.
It's actually one of our early dismissals,
Yeah, it's
right?
early dismissal time.
Okay. And that's the only data retreat during the year? There's
Yeah,
no-
that's our biggest one. It's used throughout, you know, there'll be
Yeah.
different in-service times where they'll look at data. Principals can speak to it too. but-
Pre-service at the
Yeah.
building level,
There's
there's
grade
work
level
done,
meetings.
and then
Mhm.
after we've done the fall assessment, then is it the September? Yeah.
Monthly RTI meetings,
Okay. So it's a constant discussion?
definitely.
Good. So when students test on math and they're doing it on the iPad, are they allowed paper and pencil to help?
Yeah, I think there's scratch paper allowed, I believe, yep.
Okay. So when there's a teacher-parent conference, the teacher gives to the parent a report card, the math results, testing results, and if it applies at that grade level Smarter Balance, would those be perhaps the 3 main
Yeah, all that
things
data
are
would be
given?
talked about with the parent.
Yeah.
Yep.
If a parent doesn't show up for parent-teacher conferences, is that information mailed home?
Yep, it's all sent home.
Okay, great. District growth, it'd be interesting to see where we're at, what are our shortfalls, what are we really good at, what are we looking at for adjustments. That would be interesting to all of us. Student incentives. So we want students to do really well in testing. We do the Smarter Balance, we do this. We do classroom instruction with tests, quizzes, worksheets, etc. So how do we incentivize students?
Well, one scenario that I know this year, like there was a building that set a growth goal as a building. If we grow X number of points as a building, we have a reward for the day or a half a day or something like that. So it's kind of, it turned it into a competition for the building. Like, so it's kind of one of those things where, you know, show us what you know, putting emphasis on putting their best foot forward on that test day, to really give us a good idea of where they're at. So yeah, I would say it's definitely talked about a lot.
I can speak to that one. It's also talked about a lot at home. And
Yeah.
like my own kids, they just had this, and it was school-wide. I think, are you talking about Millette?
Mhm.
So they challenged all the kids. It was all they could talk about. Like, they even went to bed early. They were so excited to test the next day. I was like, thank you, school. But then, like, they knew their numbers, and then they individually knew what they, like, my kids were like, well, I know I want to get this on it. So that goes back to what you said. Like, I think about the conversation, like, in the classroom, the kids know where their score was and where they'd like to get, but then they know what their class wants to get and their building wants to get, and they really did, at least my experience, my kids were excited about it, really hyped it up, and they met their goal, and I think they got bowling or something, I don't know, something fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, midnight bowling. There we go. So,
oh, yeah, I was at Millette that day. The gym had midnight bowling and lights and everything going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd all agree that student incentives are really important. Just to discuss for a moment, incentives boost motivation, encourage positive behavior, improve academic performance, build self-esteem, helps establish good learning habits. And that, particularly kindergarten through 4th grade, 5th, 6th, this is the foundation we're laying so that they increase their desire to want to really do well. And you could discuss each of those points in depth, but incentives also spark students to discover a genuine enjoyment and mastery of a subject. Focus on hard work, even though they might not succeed at the first moment. So there's something I think that we should, as a board, look into further, and that's how do we apply incentives across all the way. This is the student report cards for grades 1st grade through 4th grade. It's a standard-based report card. It has 4 columns. We only use the first 3 columns. First is below proficient, second is approaching proficiency, and the third is proficient. We never use the 4th column, which could be used for superior, excels, works hard. I think since we want students to do really well in testing, that we could also incentivize individual students with the report card as well. I think that's something that should be discussed. This is the pamphlet that goes home for parents explaining the standardized report card. And one of the statements is, it monitors your child's growth and achievement, which is important. Year after year, I have discussions with retired teachers, present day teachers, and so on. It's the 2nd, 3rd grade, 1st grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade teachers that constantly tell me that incentivizing students within a classroom sometimes is often difficult, particularly when the report card doesn't mean much because there's no incentive to work to a higher level, that students often just shut down. So that's a main concern of elementary teachers. I hear that over and over. I also hear it from parents. Actually, I got a letter from a teacher who expressed great concern for the 3-2-1 grading, simply because it doesn't encourage students to do work at a higher level. It's subjective, and students don't try as hard as they could. For instance, let's say you're giving a worksheet or test with 10 questions. A 5 or a 6 would be considered proficient. That's what, a C, if you're posing juxtaposing that to a grade level. By the way, when they hit 5th grade, they're suddenly on a different grading scale, A, B, C, D, E, F. Students have a hard time transitioning to that because they've always been getting 3s here. Suddenly they don't understand what an A or a B means. So I think that's something that as a board we should seriously consider what we can do to improve incentives. Perhaps we can improve the report card. Something to think about.
I would just add, Jean, after we've kind of talked about this on and off throughout the last couple of years, just over the course of this last month, I was curious to hear from, because I haven't heard the same concerns from staff, and if they are having it, I'm not personally hearing from them. But I did try just in this last month to do some outreach to some staff across different buildings and levels of between K through 6 even, because I knew a few people who had floated over time from elementary to intermediate or vice versa, and was just curious what their input, and I just candidly asked them, what are your thoughts about the 1 through 3 scoring? I have my own personal thoughts on it as a parent, that I have zero concerns about it. I think it's very clear to me to understand that grading system, it seems to challenge my own children, and that's very just my own story on that. I feel like they're very challenged enough by it, but I probably reached out to like just under 15 different teachers, and none of them, and again, this was people whose email or phone number I had, but none of them shared that same concern of feeling like this letter. And I'm not saying that's not true. I know that you received the letter, but I'm not hearing that from any of them. They all said that at the, I asked for honest opinion on what they felt like when we implemented it, how they feel like it's going. And I felt like every person's general response was, at first, when they shifted to this grading scale of the 1 through 3, it's very standards based. It was a lot of work on the staff to begin with. And I think all of them kind of had a bad taste in their mouth to begin with about it, based on knowing what was like going to be the work for them to do. But not a single one of them had anything negative to say in present day. They said it's very clear for them to have a conversation with a parent about it. I understand where you're coming from, that adding the form may incentivize more, but it may also add more confusion if we have a forward metric that they're based on, whereas these ones are, you're either not there, you're getting there, or you are there. But the classroom teachers are all doing their own things, knowing the kids who are in, beyond that have met the standards. I think they find ways to challenge them themselves and incentivize that excess of learning. I know, like my own kiddo, he has a teacher who works really closely with him, because I don't know where he gets it, but he's very, very smart and excels, and they're working with him to add things all the time. And am I seeing that on a report card? No. But we have those conversations with this teacher and know what's happening. So I just want to say I hear you, but my conversations around that topic have been very different. So I'm very open to hear what others have experienced, but just wanted to say that.
I think there was a division when it was pilot program, and then there was a vote, semi-vote, or at least a look at if teachers wanted to move to that. In one session, there were only 5. There were 5 that were against it, and they were all veteran teachers. And all the veteran teachers I show this to can't believe this report card. We have to remember that we represent here on the board over 3,200 students. It is veteran teachers that are most concerned. These are the ones that reach out to me, ones that have been teaching for a long time, because they know that students should be incentivized, can do better, and they should be given the reward for doing that. Some of the parochial schools in town actually use A, B, C, D, E, F for all grade levels. So we have to consider how we compare locally, statewide, internationally, and so on.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Barrios? Thank you for putting this together.
Appreciate it.
I think we moved to item 5.4, Heidi, the Employee Benefit Trust.
Yes, we just wrapped up the 2025 financial year for the self-funded group health and dental employee benefit trust. We ended the year at a cash balance of just over $3.5 million. This compares to December of 2024, we are at $3.3 million. So we had income reported at just over 9.8 million with expenses at 9.6, so we ended in a net result increase of $166,758. So that is a positive impact to the Employee Benefit Trust. Our fund balance percent remains at 36.11%, so we are still operating at a good level for that trust. Our premium to claim ratio we will continue looking at as we move into negotiations for next year. And we will keep in mind claims are always changing. The only thing we can really control is that premium level. So it's really, it's hard to set that amount, but we will look at that closer. We have a meeting with Wellmark at the end of February, and we'll look at what our claim ratios should be in order to remain solvent in the trust. Are there any questions with that information?
So we offer a pharmacy drug plan as well, is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. And we actually get a pretty good rebate on those for income within that information. So you'll see $760,000 that we received with RX rebates.
Let's hope with some of the new plans that are being put forward nationally that some of those drug prices will come down and help us.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on the Employee Benefit Trust report? Okay, we move to 5.5, first reading of district policies.
Okay, we have 6 policies for you. The first one is GBJA, confidential information. That is just for your review. And then we have GCAA, general qualifications. That is also for review. Next is GCB, certification. There was a change to the suicide awareness and prevention training. That was a legislative change. It used to be that every individual, certified individual would have to submit as a part of the certification process that they took this suicide awareness and prevention training. That was changed to indicate that a district will have to note this as a part of their accreditation visit. So we need to gather them. That's why that was added. Next, GCC, personnel seeking and holding public office. We did completely update this to the new language in associated school boards with just information. If someone were to wish to run for public office, we would direct them to this policy. Then we have GCCAE, staff conferences, trainings, and workshops. We added a note there, very specific to the Lake area side, that if there is something within their procedures that that they can indicate through their budget on the reimbursement process. And then finally, GCF, professional staff hiring, that is a review.
Okay.
And those are all first readings.
First readings, so we'll see them again next month.
Correct.
Okay, 6.1, approval of the bills. Entertain a motion to approve the bills for this month.
I move we approve the bills.
Second.
Okay, motion by Lohr, second by Moulton. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 6.2, personnel.
Tonight we also have retirements. I'd like to thank all of these individuals for their many years of service to the Watertown School District. It'd be tough to replace all of their time and efforts they put in for us. I would recommend your approval of these retirements.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept these retirements.
Move that we approve all of the retirements as listed.
Motion by Rossman.
Second.
Second by Rammel. Questions, comments?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of them. Several of them, I was reading their letters for their retirements, and I'm kind of a sap and got choked up reading a few of them. A few of them were former teachers that I had and people that I really respect and appreciated in my own education. So thank you and congrats to each of you on that list.
And I haven't done the math as President Sanderson has, but by just guesstimating, I bet we're at 300 plus years of service there.
Yeah. I would like to say thanks to all of these people in their many years. Very difficult to replace that kind of experience. All in favor of accepting these retirements, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.2.2, resignations.
A few resignations here, recommended for your approval.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept these resignations.
I move to accept the resignations as listed.
Okay, motion by Rammel,
Second?
second by Rossman. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.2.3, recommendations and addendums.
Yep, and just a few addendums here, and would recommend your approval on these.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve these.
Move that we approve all of the contract recommendations as addendums and addendums as listed.
Okay, motion by Rossman,
Second.
second by Rammel. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.2.4, superintendent contract.
Yes, we have a motion here to offer a contract to Superintendent Danielson for the 2026-27 and 2027-28 school year with terms to be negotiated.
Okay, that has been our custom in the past to offer a 2-year contract. Entertain a motion to approve the superintendent's contract.
That was the first.
So
right?
moved.
Yep.
Okay.
And then second.
And second by Rossman.
Yep.
Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.3.1, consider surplus resolution.
Yes, it is recommended to approve the surplus resolution declaring a tractor surplus for trade.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve this surplus resolution.
I move we approve the surplus resolution.
Motion by Moulton,
Second.
second by Lohr. Questions, comments?
2 for 1 for a FedEx plane?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Even trade.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 6.3.2, consider direct sales proposal from Johnson Controls.
Yes, this is our third step in finalizing our air conditioning for Lincoln and Jefferson. We approved the project development agreement. We've approved the equipment purchase, and now this is the installation contract. This is in accordance with Johnson Controls Sourcewell contract in the amount of $1.7 million. This is in addition to the material only contract, which was noted at $622,000. This results in an overall project cost of just over $2.4 million. The project development agreement did note that the project could not exceed $2,467,000, so we are well within that range.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept this proposal from Johnson Controls.
I'll make a motion to consider the sales proposal from Johnson Controls as explained.
Motion by Lohr,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments? So when this is done, then all the elementary schools everything's air conditioned every place.
Yep,
Correct.
that is correct.
Okay, good. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. We have the second reading, 6.4, second reading of a series of policies.
Yes, we have no changes from the first reading, and if you make the motion and don't want to say the letters for the policy file and just say the name of the policy, I bet that would still be approved.
I like that idea. One by one.
Yeah. We do need to do them individually,
Okay.
yes, please.
So, 6.4.1, staff disclosure of misconduct. Entertain a motion to approve this policy.
I move we approve GBCD staff disclosure of misconduct.
Motion by Moulton,
Second.
second by Lohr. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 6.4.1 has been approved. 6.4.2, staff ethics and conflicts of interest. Entertain a motion to approve this.
I move we approve GBEA as presented.
Okay, motion by Lohr,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.4.3, internal controls fiscal code of ethics. Entertain a motion to approve this.
I move that we approve GBEBC internal controls and fiscal code of ethics.
Motion by Moulton,
Second.
second by Lohr. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. 6.4.4, staff health.
Just a note here, You are deleting this one, so the motion would be to delete GBGA, staff health.
Okay, entertain a motion to delete this policy.
I move that we delete staff health.
Motion by Laura,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments?
I do want to follow up
Yep.
that by deleting this, we are not becoming unconcerned with our staff health. We have that covered through other policies, and with such a short, it's covered elsewhere
Okay.
in the district.
Sounds good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 6.4.5, Employee Assistance Program. Entertain a motion to approve this.
I move we approve GBGC, Employee Assistance Program.
Motion by Moulton,
Second.
second by Laura. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.4.6, Administrative Procedures. Entertain a motion to approve this policy.
I move we approve administrative procedures.
Motion by Laura,
Second.
second by Moulton. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That takes us to 6.5, Open Enrollment Requests.
Yes, I do have 2 open enrollment requests for your approval and recommending that.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the open enrollments.
Move that we approve the 2 open enrollments as listed.
Motion by Rossman,
Second.
second by Rammel. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 6.5.2, we do not
have
one.
any 1328.
Okay, that takes us to 7.1, Administrative Reports.
Yes, thank you. A couple of announcements coming up. We do have dismissal on Thursday, February 12th at 12:30 for parent-teacher conferences, and then parent-teacher conferences run from 1 to 8. There's no school then on Friday the 13th, one of my favorite days of the year. Friday the 13th, not every day we don't have school. And Monday the 16th. And for those interested in the legislature, we do have a Cracker Barrel in town on Saturday, February 14th. That's at 8 o'clock a.m. at the Cottington County Fairgrounds or Extension Building Livestock Ring. For those who are keeping track at home on snow days, so far we have 0. We did have on the 23rd, even though we did not have school, we still had staff in service that day, so that counted. So we are still at 0 as we go through the year. We have 2 built in. And then a little bit, the legislative session is well underway. We've already hit crossover day, which means all bills had to be introduced. I know we've got one, House Bill 1202, which is an ask for Lake Area for the Trade Center proposed building. So we would want to support House Bill 1202. There's a few still out there. A lot of it is defeating what I would call bad bills for public education. But some that are out there, there's one House Bill 1017 that is kind of a school discipline bill. My understanding with that is there's a lot of work behind the scenes to try and get something that would be amenable and passable. Let's see, it's Senate Bill, I gotta think it's 1082 on the food, or is that 1008? I gotta look at I got too many lists of these. But there's one, and just to kind of explain to House Bill 1082 established the parameters for the reimbursement of school districts that provide free or reduced price meals to students. Just to explain to the board, I think we've talked about this, but also to the public and the audience, House Bill 1082, so when students qualify for free or reduced lunches right now, there's one income guideline for reduced, one income guideline for free. What this would do is pay the difference for the reduced students so that they would all be free. So that in South Dakota, it would just be you either qualify for free lunches or you don't. because the difference in that reduced rate would be paid by the state. It does not expand the qualifications. You would still have to use those guidelines. It's been sent to House, it passed House Ed, sent to House Appropriations because there's about just under $600,000 price tag for that obviously it wasn't in the governor's budget, so it would have to be found somewhere. Revenue estimates did come in higher from fourth quarter, so there are groups out there seeking, obviously there's more than just education looking for funding increases, but education might, of the big three, Medicaid, state workers, and education, education might be in the front of that group just because there were some provisions in the budget that would have provided modest increases for those other two. So we're holding out hope. I think the discussions are starting, but I don't have anything to report to you right now in terms of, where are we going to fall. I was out in Pierre last week, and I do want to say thank you to our District 4 and 5 legislators. I was actually able to visit with 5 of the 6. Had some good conversations with them about the legislative session. Feel really good about our representation out there, but nobody was able to say too much in terms of where we're going to land on that because it has to pass. So that's all I have for you on the legislative session, unless you had questions on different bills that I could give you my best take on.
When is the session done? March something?
Right around our board meeting. Might be that week of our board meeting in March.
Board report 7.2, board reports to the superintendent.
Mr. President,
Yes.
our priority is what students learn and how students learn. Since testing is important, then providing students with incentives to do well each day in the classroom supports all learning and testing activities. Sports and athletics push students to do better, to excel. Classroom incentives should also do that. Current report cards for grades 1 through 4 do not provide an incentive for top achievement. This is brought to my attention by 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th grade teachers. Their concern is simply that students do not work to full potential. Is this reflected in test scores also? That's a good question. Report cards only list proficient, approaching proficient, and proficient. There's no use of the 4th column, which could be advanced, superior, or excels. Proficient on grading scale, 6 out of 5, 6 or 5 out of a 10 worksheet or test could be considered proficient. That's a low standard. I've asked repeatedly to discuss and review school board policy IKA, grading policy. I have been denied that repeatedly. Mr. President, I am asking for a formal agenda item to review and discuss grading policy IKA. Right now it's scheduled as 20 items down on the policy list from tonight. I think that needs to be moved up. Mr. President, I ask these comments to be entered into the minutes of tonight's meeting.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, we don't want to go back and revisit, Rochelle's comments.
No, it's just this, what I just said just now.
Okay.
Gets entered.
And you have that recorded, Heidi?
And I will send that to
Yep,
Heidi.
Jean will send it.
Okay. Any other reports to the board? Okay, I believe now we move to item 8, which is the executive session. So we need a motion to move us into executive session, I believe.
So moved.
By Rossman.
Yep. Second.
Second by Rammel. Questions, comments?
No action after following executive session tonight.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so at 6:49, we're going to go into executive session.